Detroit Lions fans, Detroit Density 313 with Steve and Will back with a game day episode. Steve, before we get into this game day episode, I'd like to bring the note that the Detroit Lions have got themselves in a world of shit. Um,
Pun
are you
intended.
are you aware of this world that they've got themselves into?
I was well aware the second I think it happened.
I would like to. Amon-Ra and his brother were talking about this world. I just like to share that with the world.
I have one last question. What's up with your teammate shitting his pants mid-game?
Bro, I don't have anything to say about that. That's crazy.
I've never seen that, bro. I bet you wish y'all wore fucking blue or something, or like a black team, or play for the Browns.
I'll spare them the whole thing. But we'll go ahead and post that. It's already up on. I think I posted it on the X already. But yeah, James Houston. Houston had a problem.
He had a number 2 problem.
Getting into it to the business, Steve. What we talking, man?
Well, real quick, I'll say that he claimed he sat in Gatorade. James, there's no chance, buddy. Just hey, man, you gotta own it. Like, hey, man, you shit your pants. It's all right. I'm not gonna lie. I've shit my pants before. Like, it happens, you know. Not as many cameras on me as there are on you, though. So I get it. But hey, new game, new jerseys, darker jerseys. We can hide all of our accidents. I'm tired of hearing a term when we're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm seeing the word trap game quite a bit, William, and I'm just going to knock that right out. I don't believe that this Detroit Lions team falls in trap games. All right. If you fall in a trap game, that means you're poorly prepared or poorly coached. The Detroit Lions are neither. They treat every single team as if they're playing for the Super Bowl. Okay. They treat every team as if it's prime time, two undefeated teams. Like, they don't take teams lightly. And I'll say this about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they have a much better roster than their record indicates. Yeah. I know we're getting Mac Jones, but, you know, they got playmakers on the football field. I know they're sitting at the bottom of the barrel in the standings, but I like the Jacksonville Jaguars roster. So I'm not going to call this a trap game, but I also don't think it's going to be a blowout like a lot of people think.
13-point favorites we are.
Biggest spread of the NFL season I've seen.
Yeah, Vegas thinks a little bit different, and I'm gonna have to go with Vegas.
I'll break Vegas any day of the week, William. Call me Rain Man. I'll put money. I'll put money on it.
Hey, listen, I think we're gonna take care of business and really look dominant in this game. I just don't see a way that Mac Jones leads this team to be competitive. And not getting too far ahead. Mr. Ben had something to say. Mr. Ben Johnson had something to say. You see what he said today?
He said a lot of things. What do you be more specific?
He said, listen, it's time for this offense to start carrying their weight. I think he's going to come out and make a statement. I think Jared Goff is going to come out and make a statement. I think this is a Detroit Lions team that's very petty. You see what they did to the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm not just talking about the score. I'm talking about tackle eligible. I think we're throwing it to every offensive lineman that we can. This is a team that's going to come out and make a statement like, listen, you can question this offense. You can question our quarterback if you want to. Watch us put up 100 points.
100 points. It's crazy that he doesn't think that this Lions offense is carrying their weight. Like, I think that Dan Campbell was spot on when he said that we might not be firing on all cylinders until around the bye week. I think he was spot on, and that's probably when we really started taking off. You know, we came out of the bye. We had Dallas. We put up like almost 40 on Minnesota. We smoked Green Bay, smoked the Titans. Had a phenomenal second half against Houston. I think that this offense is carrying its weight, but maybe that's Ben Johnson's way of trying to get the troops rallied up. But if he thinks that they're not firing on all cylinders, and we're like, I mean, let's just bring up the stats real fast. Like, let's just look at our offensive rankings. We're second in points scored, which is the only stat I care about. We're top 10 in everything except for passing offense. I think a lot of that goes to do with Jared Goff last week and the game against the Titans where he didn't have to throw the ball. We're not giving it away that much. Our red zone is elite. Like, I don't know how much better Ben Johnson thinks it can get, but I'm pretty happy with where we're sitting.
Yeah, I'll say that too, Steve. I don't think that it's too crazy, man. They're averaging 31, almost 32 points a game. That's definitely enough when we're talking about where we were at the beginning of the season, score us 21 points and we should win the football game. So they're doing what they need to do. I just think that he's a perfectionist and it can be better. Sometimes we have those lows, man, where it just gets weird sometimes. I think Jared Goff sometimes when he gets a lot of pressure, things get a little weird. I think that we've gone quiet a few times, and I think Aaron Glenn has something to do with that as well. I think we're a competitive coaching staff, we're a competitive organization, and Aaron Glenn is playing or coaching his butt off. And I don't think Ben likes being number two. I think he likes being that lead dog. I think there's some natural competitiveness going on in there. Nothing that's detrimental to the team, but I think it's a good competitive nature going on there.
Kind of like what we saw a couple years ago on Hard Knocks with Deuce Staley and Aaron Glenn going back to back. You think Ben Johnson and AG just all day at practice, just jawing at each other, just friendly competition? I don't know if Ben Johnson's a very vocal type guy like Deuce Staley was, but you could be right where it's just, hey, man, I want my offense to be higher ranked than your defense. Just a little, hey, coaches meeting, like, hey, man, I don't know if you saw, but my offense was better than your defense today. But he hasn't had too many bragging rights lately over Aaron Glenn because he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that's all it is, man. We've been talking about it. Everybody's talking about this Aaron Glenn defense, and I think Ben's ready to get back to making it a two-headed monster, even though it already still is a two-headed monster.
But when I just look at this Jaguars team, I don't understand how they're a 2-8 football team. Like, okay, Mac Jones, you're kind of handicapped there. You got playmakers. We talk about it with the Detroit Lions. You got to have playmakers at multiple levels. I like their running back duo of Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. They got young wide receiver Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis. They got a good tight end, Evan Ingram. Defensively, we're familiar with Josh Hines-Allen. That's who everyone wanted the Lions to go after. Trayvon Walker, number 1 draft pick. Thank you for passing on Aiden Hutchinson. They got some guys on their team that are – I don't understand why they're 2-8. On paper, they should be at least in the playoff hunt, and they're kind of just dead in the water right now. So how do you feel like we match up with them?
I think we matched up great. And for all of you people that were questioning last season, talking about did we make the wrong move with going with Hutchinson instead of Walker? Like, should we have pressed the issue and tried to go up to number 1 because Walker was so versatile and so this? Not listen. Aiden Hutchinson still has more pressures than Walker, and he's had a bye week, and then he's been out since the Dallas game. What are we talking about?
He's got a bionic leg right now.
What are we talking about? Yeah, that Detroit definitely made a better move, but there's no disrespect to these Jaguars. I think they're better than a 2-8 team. That I will give them that, but I do think we're the better football team. I think where they're at right now, it'll be easy for them to believe that they're not in a football game. They got Mac Jones that was 2 interceptions and like 100 yards last week. He just didn't look great at all. I just feel like this team will find a way to take themselves out of the football game. Christian Kirk on the IR, he was a huge offensive weapon for those guys that kind of kept this offense going. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence and his locks not being out there. I just think it's a recipe for disaster for the Jaguars. We just can never allow them to believe that they're in the football game.
Yeah, beat them early, put your foot on their neck. Don't ever let them up.
Yep.
I like the Jags roster. But if we're talking about Mac Jones, this is a dude who just does not scare me at all. Okay, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to be nice. I'm in a good mood tonight, but I don't know how Mac Jones was a top 10 draft pick. Okay, he went to Alabama and had the greatest wide receiving core in the history of football with a dominant offensive line and a dominant running game, and he was just kind of the X factor. Like, if Mac Jones plays well, we're gonna win. And he played for obviously Alabama. Nick Saban, greatest coach of all time. I don't understand how he got drafted where he did. I think there's a lot of expectations. I understood why Jacksonville signed him. Hey, we need a backup. Now he's playing. We cannot lose to Mac Jones. I just don't see a world where it's even remote. Like I got to turn into Thanos and snap my fingers and go to a different reality if that's what happens, William.
Yeah, Mac Jones looks like he's been eating everything with Mac sauce on it.
You remember his locker room picture, him smoking the cigar and everyone compared him to Tom Brady, like the most unathletic dude in the world. Like, that's who we're going against. Okay. So I'm very, very confident in the Detroit Lions, but the rest of the Jags roster is very, very well.
Yeah, I agree with that though. They got and I don't even want to try to pronounce his name, but their linebacker number 23, he's a dog. I like him. Obviously, I like their ends. They had 3 interceptions.
Sadi Olokun.
Yeah,
That might be it.
Might be. Hey, you're way closer than I would have got. That's why I didn't even try to butcher it. But yeah, man. I think they had 3 picks on Sam Darnold and the Vikings last week. So they're a team they're a live team. No, and they're an NFL team, and anything can happen on any given Sunday. So I don't want to make it like we're seriously coming over here. I'm coming on here and just completely disrespecting those guys, but I think that we should handle them and not getting too far ahead. I think we should have a good next 3 weeks, man, that we could really put ourselves in a good situation. But don't want to look past anybody. It starts with these Jacksonville Jaguars. And I just don't think there's any way that Za'Darius Smith doesn't make a huge impact on this football game. How you feel about that?
Well, first, real quick, also what they did to Minnesota last week was they didn't allow them to score a touchdown.
12
And
points.
yeah, all field goals. And Minnesota has the best wide receiver in football, in my opinion. They got a serviceable run game and a serviceable offensive line. Sam Darnold sucks. Yeah, their defense is no joke. What was your question?
I don't remember. No, that was a long time ago. No, I'm just joking.
12 seconds.
Za'Darius Smith, man. You think Za'Darius Smith's going to make an impact on this football game?
I need someone to leave in the comments if you're a season ticket holder and you're at the games. Our last game against the Tennessee Titans, when we did intros, was it offense or defense? Because I cannot wait. I'm hoping it's a defensive introduction week. I cannot wait for Za'Darius Smith's name and his picture to pop up in the fog, in the music, and 70,000 Lions fans ready to lose their mind. Because I know what the Pop Aiden Hutchinson gets, Alex Anzalone, Jared Goff. I want to see how Za'Darius Smith intro is compared to those guys. So I think we'll see him. I think that's why he sat out last week. He's good to go, rested up, took care of his personal business. If he gets a sack in this game, I've seen a lot of stuff about his celebrations that he pulls off. I got to see what he's got planned. I got to see it immediately.
I've seen all types. Him crawling on the ground. Like I've seen him do all types of stuff. I'm here for it. I love the dude's personality. I think he fits right into the locker room and in the city. He'll be another guy that is just makes this team even more marketable than they already are. So I'm just excited, man. I'm gonna call it. I think he gets 2 sacks in this game. I think we up him 7 sacks, man. 7 sacks on a year after this game, man. I just don't think Mac Jones is not going to get away from him. And I just feel like AG is going to try to put him in situations to where he can get after that quarterback. And it's not like we have slouches on the interior. I love Aleem McNeil and I love DJ Reader. He just absorbs blockers. And then, as we talked about before, Levi Onwuzurike, man, is no slouch either. So I don't know, man. I feel like he's going to get put in some great situations. Pascal's been coming on strong since he's been back, man. He's playing good football. I think this D line's gonna make some true noise, man. I was just I took down. I was looking up. I think the Detroit Lions are leading the league in pressures, even though we haven't had Aiden Hutchinson. I think I got it, man. Let me double check while I'm over here bumping my gums.
Aiden before he got hurt, he was leading. He was like in the 60s, I think, in pressure. So we still got those numbers behind us. Most teams don't even have 60 still. So yeah, I believe we're probably still in at least the top 10. Are we still number 1?
Yeah, we're number 2. 190 pressures for the Detroit Lions defense, sitting at number 2 after last week. So I mean, man, second in 130 QB hurries, man. So Aaron Glenn is still dialing it up, man. He's still sending the blitzes. He's still doing cool stuff, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. Adding to Za'Darius, when we get more of these other pieces that are coming back to this defense, as we get healthier, I just think that this defense, man, is really going to truly be a problem. One of my biggest worries about our team was, are we peaking too early? And then I start to see things like this happening. I think about this. Sam Laporte is a little beat up, and I don't even know if he's going to play in this game or not. I know he sat out practice yesterday. So I feel like he's been battling some stuff all year. And then we start talking about some of these other guys. Ife Melifonwu, who just showed that he can be just a phenomenal blitzer and he can cause havoc inside of the box, just a hybrid player. He's a guy. He's another piece that we'll get back. We're adding Za'Darius Smith to this thing. I just think that this defense hasn't even shown its peak yet, and we're going to peak at the right time when it comes playoff time.
Yeah, Sam Laporta, speaking of which, that will come out probably by the time you guys are watching this, we're recording on a Thursday night. So the official injury report, we didn't talk about that because it's not officially out yet. But if Sam Laporta doesn't play, no disrespect to the Jags, but this is probably the week you want him to sit out and rest up. Like, as much as I like their roster, I'm not going to keep, this isn't a Jags podcast, but I think we're going to take care of business. But next question I have is, we're going to see a Jared Goff bounce back game?
100%, man. Steve, I've been
well, you're talking about trade them, and maybe we should waive them the other night. And maybe Jared Goff's not the guy.
Don't even give these guys fuel for their fires, right? But I will say this, in all seriousness, I have been I really like Jared Goff guy over the years. I really like him. Don't love him. I really, really like him. I love him now, man. After last week, I absolutely love Jared Goff. Him not flinching in that situation to where it was a football game that you could easily see. I said it in the other podcast. You would see guys like AR-15. Coach, get me out of here. Get me out of here, man. It's a wrap, please. Somebody, anybody. What's Flacco doing? Get me out of here. So in a game where our back was up against it, man, he didn't flinch. He just kept going out there and doing the best that he could, leading the guys the best that he could. Talking them up, staying positive, staying ready, and it's scary, man. I think that's exactly what we need to lead us to a Super Bowl victory.
I forgot real quick about Za'Darius Smith real quick to go back just a minute. Did you see what Aaron Glenn said about him the other day in walkthroughs? His energy during walkthroughs is just tough to match. Yeah. We're talking about very, very limited access, really no media in there, just team guys going through their walkthroughs. And we're talking about energy from a brand new player. Now you throw him in Ford Field on a Sunday afternoon, 8-1 football team with 70,000 Lions fans, 3rd and 7, you're going to see real Za'Darius Smith energy then. Like if we're talking about it in practice, don't let it get to game time, William. Don't let him.
We talk practice.
Don't let him get those 2 sacks, because I'll go buy a Za'Darius Smith jersey on the spot.
I'm just wondering, does he need anybody to set up like mounted TVs in his house, or like, I just want to make sure he's comfortable, man. Like whatever he needs. He gets a couple of sacks. Take the garbage out, walk the dog. What do we need?
Give me your offensive player of the game.
Oh, that's too easy. This week it's got to be Jared Goff, coming off a 5-interception game where people are just talking his name through the mud. Some of the things I've seen on Twitter, like we talked about, we posted in the other ones, to the Hendon Hooker calls and all this other craziness. I think he bounces back, and I think he shows why he's an MVP candidate and he's not out of the MVP race. So, yeah, I think Jared Goff. Who are you going with?
I have to take Jared Goff off my list 1 second because you used him. I'll say Jameson Williams. I think I like to try to predict a stat line. Sometimes I came real close to an Amon-Ra St. Brown stat line. I was off by 4 yards a couple games ago. I was real close. I had the exact catches. I was off by 4 yards. I'm going to say J-Mo gets 7 catches, 134 yards, and 1 touchdown.
7 catches.
Yeah, I think he's going to take a short little slant or a bubble screen to the house. Game over. Defensive player of the game. I'll let you go first.
Ooh, too easy, man.
Za'Darius Smith. Yeah, tough one.
Za'Darius Smith. Za'Darius Smith, game ball, 2 sacks, maybe 3. Who knows, man? At least 2. Za'Darius Smith, get him a game ball. Welcome to Detroit, Motor City. It's storybook, man. I told you, storybook. Za'Darius Smith. Who you going with?
Hang on. Hey, Brian Branch. Yeah, well, you're no longer Will's favorite player anymore.
I can't give it to him every week.
I think Brian Branch has another interception. I have been calling for a defensive touchdown at home all season. All right. I know we had one on the road last year in Kansas City and a couple weeks ago in Green Bay. We've came close a couple times with a scoop and score from Carlton Davis a few weeks ago against, I think it was at the Titans game. He almost returned a fumble. I can't remember. He came close. He got like within the 20. I think Brian Branch, pick 6. I'll say a 54-yard interception return for touchdown.
I hope you're right.
And I'm just disappointed that he's no longer your favorite player. You're just jumping on the new guy's sack.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. BB, you know I love you, man.
All right, your least favorite question. Score prediction.
This is why anytime I do a solo, I don't even do this.
You have to.
I'm terrible. I do think that they're gonna cover the 13. So I'll go 38 to 17.
There's no way the Jags score 17 points. There's no way. I think it's going to be a blowout. I don't remember what I said at the beginning. Like roster for roster, the Detroit Lions are just better. We could talk about coaching. We've talked about all of it tonight. It's going to come down to coaching, players, execution, playmakers. I think Detroit takes it in all three aspects. I think we're better offense, defense, special teams. I'll say that the Lions score 42 and the Jags score 10. And I think we see Hendon Hooker halfway through the fourth quarter. Yeah, I think it just gets out of hand.
I like it.
All right, guys, drop your score predictions, drop your offensive player of the game, defensive player of the game, anything else, drop some questions, hit that like button, stick around. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.